Max Verstappen driving for Mercedes? Hamilton has just given the approval that no one imagined. The seven-time world champion has made a surprising statement that is shaking the foundations of Formula One and could trigger the biggest driver change in recent times. Has the time finally come to see the four-time Dutch champion wearing the silver colors of the German team? And even more importantly, has Red Bull finally lost its grip on its star driver? The revelation came almost unpretentiously, but the result was shocking. Lewis Hamilton, who for years was Max Verstappen's main rival on the track, has now become his biggest supporter at Mercedes. During a recent interview, when asked if he would recommend his former team to the Dutchman, Hamilton was blunt. Of course he would. However, the narrative behind this statement is much more elaborate and enlightening than it initially appears. Let's take a look at what's going on in the corridors of Formula One. Max Verstappen, who has already won 4 world championships for Red Bull, is experiencing a challenging season. His current car is not performing as desired, and this has caused dissatisfaction for both the driver and the team. At the same time, Mercedes, which went through some turbulent years after the end of Hamilton's era of supremacy, seems to be rediscovering the path to competitiveness. Hamilton, who left Mercedes to join Ferrari in early 2025, has a unique perspective on both sides of this situation. He has a deep understanding of the Mercedes organization, where he won 6 of his 7 world championships, and has also closely followed the extraordinary work that Red Bull has done in recent years. His statement is not just polite praise. It is technical recognition based on years of experience at the highest level of motorsport. But here comes the most captivating part of the story. Hamilton revealed that a few years ago, he made a mistake that has always bothered him. On one occasion, he said that Red Bull was just a soft drink company. That statement, made at a time when he was enthusiastic about Mercedes, has always been a source of regret for the Briton. Now he seems to be seeking to make amends for that slip, publicly acknowledging the excellence of the Austrian team. "I've always regretted that," Hamilton confessed. "I was just trying to encourage my team at the time, but the reality is that Red Bull has been an extraordinarily competent team." This admission demonstrates a maturity and sincerity that we rarely see in the world of Formula One, where words are usually very measured and diplomatic. What makes this circumstance even more intriguing is the relationship between Verstappen and Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team principal. Wolff has publicly confessed on more than one occasion that he is in dialogue with the Dutch driver. This is not new information, but the way Verstappen has reacted to these speculations is significant. When asked about these conversations during the British Grand Prix, Verstappen responded evasively, "Who said that?" And when informed that it was Wolff himself, he simply said, "I have nothing to add." This response does not constitute a categorical denial. In fact, it is exactly the kind of response we would expect from a driver who is keeping his options open. Verstappen is known for being direct and honest in his statements, so if there were nothing going on, he would probably have denied it more emphatically. And it doesn't end there. Red Bull's situation has become increasingly complicated. The team, which has dominated Formula One in recent years, is facing technical challenges that it has not been able to completely resolve. The 2025 car is not providing Verstappen with the same level of competitiveness he was used to, and this has led to obvious frustrations. But the problem goes beyond technical issues. There are constant rumors of internal tensions at Red Bull, especially regarding the future of the team and its technical direction. Christian Horner, the team boss, has faced continuous pressure, and the departure of important figures such as Adrian Newey last year has left a void that has not yet been completely filled. On the other hand, Mercedes has shown signs of recovery. The German team, which went through some difficult years after the end of Hamilton's era of domination, seems to be finding its way back to competitiveness. Recent technical developments have been encouraging, and the team's infrastructure remains one of the best on the grid. Hamilton knows this infrastructure better than any other current driver. He spent 11 years at Mercedes, experienced the team's ups and downs, and knows exactly what they are capable of when everything works perfectly. His recommendation is not based on nostalgia or loyalty. It is grounded in deep knowledge and practical experience. "It's an incredible team," Hamilton said of Mercedes. "They have natural passion, exceptional people, a fantastic factory, and a wonderful working environment." Those words carry special weight coming from someone who is now on a rival team and has no reason to promote Mercedes other than professional honesty. But let's analyze the possible scenarios. If Verstappen really decides to leave Red Bull, what would be the consequences? For Red Bull, it would be a devastating blow. Losing the four-time world champion, who is still at the peak of his career, would be a huge setback. The team would have to completely rebuild its strategy and find a suitable replacement, which is no easy task in the current Formula One landscape. For Mercedes, it would be a golden opportunity. Signing Verstappen would not only mean having one of the best drivers around today, but also a major psychological blow to the competition. The German team would immediately return to title favorite status, especially if it manages to completely resolve the technical issues with the car. For Verstappen, it would be a chance to start over in a new environment, with a team that is hungry for victory and has the resources to fight for the title. Mercedes has a recent history of success and the infrastructure to support the Dutchman's ambitions. But there are also risks. Verstappen is comfortable at Red Bull, knows the team inside out, and has an established relationship with all the key members. Changing teams always involves a period of adjustment, and there are no guarantees that a new partnership will be successful right away. The contractual issue is also complex. Verstappen has a contract with Red Bull until 2028, but Formula One contracts are often renegotiated or include exit clauses that can be activated under certain circumstances. If Red Bull's performance continues to fall short of expectations, these clauses could become relevant. The timing is also interesting. Hamilton made this statement at a time when speculation about Verstappen's future is at its peak. This may be a coincidence, but in Formula One, things rarely happen by chance. It is possible that Hamilton is aware of behind-the-scenes developments that have not yet become public. The pressure on Verstappen is also mounting. At 27, he is at the peak of his career and knows he cannot waste precious years with a car that gives him no chance of fighting for the title. Every season lost is an opportunity that will not come back, and this is certainly weighing on his decisions. From Mercedes' point of view, having Hamilton's endorsement is extremely valuable. The seven-time champion is still a highly respected figure in the paddock, and his opinion carries weight with both drivers and teams. If he is publicly recommending Mercedes to Verstappen, this could influence the Dutchman's perception of the German team. But there is also Red Bull's perspective to consider. The team will not give up its biggest asset easily. They will certainly do everything they can to keep Verstappen, whether through technical improvements to the car or contract renegotiations that make it even more difficult for him to leave. What is clear is that we are living in a defining moment in Formula One. The coming weeks and months could be decisive for the future, not only of Verstappen, but of the entire dynamic of the grid. If the transfer does happen, it will be one of the biggest moves in the recent history of the category. Hamilton's statement also reveals a lot about the current mindset in Formula One. Drivers are increasingly professional in their approach, recognizing the quality of their rivals' work and being honest about the capabilities of different teams. This is a positive development for the sport. Meanwhile, fans are eagerly awaiting developments. The possibility of seeing Verstappen at Mercedes is exciting for many, but it also raises questions about what this would mean for the competitive balance of the grid. Formula One is more interesting when there are several teams fighting for the title, and a Mercedes with Verstappen could usher in a new era of domination. What do you think about this situation? Will Verstappen really leave Red Bull? And more importantly, will Mercedes be able to convince him to make the move? Hamilton's statement may have been the push needed to get this deal off the ground. Leave your opinion in the comments because I want to know if you think this transfer will actually happen or if it's just more speculation from the Formula One market. And click on the video that's appearing on your screen because there I'll tell you how another bombshell behind the scenes could completely change the scenario for next season and how it could even affect Verstappen's own title chances.